great to be here with my good colleague Bert van Manen once again. Bert and I actually met here many, many years ago before he came into Parliament in 2010, so it's great to be back here at Kelly's wonderful coffee shop and to be trained by Tegan and Brianne on how to make the coffee and to see what they're going through and learning about all their training programs. One of the most important objectives we have as a government is jobs, and particularly jobs for young people, and the opportunities that are provided by small businesses like this all around Queensland, all around Brisbane, and the training that is provided and the support that is provided for young people to come and get a job and get a trade and get a skill, and to develop that positive attitude in the workplace, which is being offered right here, is one of the key ingredients about how we're going to continue to grow our economy. Sure, the economic times are difficult globally, but what we're seeing in businesses like this and all around the country is Australians out there having the effort put in and making the difference and ensuring that the jobs and growth will be there for the future. So it's been great to be here with you, Bert, and seeing what's happening locally, and that's what we're focused on. The Australian economy is growing at twice the rate of economies like Canada. We're growing faster than any of the other economies on average in the OECD. And so despite the global turbulent times, we've seen even today that the confidence figures are surviving, even despite the global uncertainty. Business conditions remain strong and the perception of them remains strong. And as I say, confidence is not being shattered by what we're seeing globally, because what's happening in the real economy, what's happening in this coffee shop and the factories up the road and other places around Queensland and particularly here, is that the Australian economy is transitioning and it's performing and it's delivering jobs and growth. Last year, more than 300,000 jobs were created in Australia, created by businesses like this. They're not created by governments, they're not created by politicians, they're created by business owners like Kelly and her dad, who together are operating some 4 of these shops around this area. And that's where the jobs come from. Businesses having a go and putting young people in who are showing the right attitude, like we've seen here, and getting the skills and getting the training.
Minister, what about mums and dads having a go with negative gearing? I mean, are you going to be just looking at the big end of town, or will you possibly be coming back with your forward?
I've always said that negative gearing has provided a great opportunity to mum and dad investors, to police, to nurses, to teachers and others. I mean, 2/3 of people who negative gear in this country have a taxable income of $80,000 or less. 70% just own one property. 70% have a net rental loss of less than $10,000. The Labor Party seems to think they're all property barons. What they don't understand is that negative gearing for the vast majority of people who use it are just ordinary Australians trying to get ahead and taking one of the few options they have to build wealth over a lifetime. Now, the way that they've decided to try and address this issue, they're not dealing with the excesses of negative gearing. They're actually hitting the nurses and the teachers and others who relied on it to build wealth. And they want them to go and compete with high-end investors for an ever smaller reducing pool of properties by focusing it on just new assets. So, well, I'm always talking to colleagues. I'm talking to colleagues here today. I'm constantly in contact with colleagues working through all of these issues. And what all of us want to achieve is we want to try and get wherever we can the tax burden on Australians who work for a living. Taxpayers who actually go to work every day to earn their income. Small businesses who run their business to earn their income. And we're trying to find whatever way we can to try and reduce the tax burden on those Australians, because they're the ones who generate the jobs. They're the ones who generate the tax revenue that helps provide the support to the services that governments need to provide.
Will you be making changes at the budget level?
The budget will be introduced in May, as it always is. There's no change to that, and we will outline the measures that we've been working carefully through. Now, as we demonstrated, as we considered the changes around the GST. We did the homework, we weren't rushed into it, we worked out whether it would be something that we should do, and we worked out that that was not the right answer, and that's why the GST has been taken off the table, as the Prime Minister and I have said now, and that has been an important threshold decision. You've got to make the right decision for the country, and a government shouldn't be hectored or bullied into making decisions that it hasn't done the full work on. And what you'll get from the Prime Minister and I as we work through these important decisions on tax is we'll do the work. We'll do the homework, and we'll make sure whether it's the right thing to do for the country. Now, we've made that decision when it comes to a GST to provide big income tax cuts. The analysis that we did showed that at the end of the day, it wouldn't deliver the sort of support to the economy that we hoped it might achieve. And so that's not an option the government will be pursuing. But we will continue to look for growth under every rock. We will continue to look for opportunities to reduce the tax burden on Australians who are working, saving and investing every day to support our transitioning economy.
Minister, has Stuart Robert paid too high a price for his trip to China?
Well, those issues regarding Mr Robert were addressed last week, and the Prime Minister has now appointed his new cabinet and his new ministry, and we get on with the job of doing the right thing by the Australian economy and for all Australians to help them. As I keep saying, our economy is transitioning. It's a positive transition. It is happening because Australians are putting in the work and the effort to make that a success. And as a government in this budget, we'll be doing what we think is needed to ensure that they're backed in that decision. And that means you've got to get expenditure under control, because if you can't keep expenditure low, then you can't get taxes low. What our opponents want to do is they want to tax higher to spend higher. We want to ensure that we spend less so we can tax less. Thanks for your time.